For all of human history, we've wondered where we came from. Did we start with a special touch from God in a perfect garden? Or did we slowly change from early humans, surviving tough times like cavemen? What if I told you that two of our biggest stories about how we began, the Bible's Adam and Eve and science's story of early humans, create a puzzling timeline? Tonight, we're looking closely at a question that's caused many debates. Were Adam and Eve here before the caveman? Get ready to think about things differently. Let's look at our two main stories. First, there's the Bible's story of Adam and Eve. It says Adam and Eve were the very first humans, created by God in the Garden of Eden. This story often places humans starting around 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. Their story is about innocence, making a bad choice, and starting human life as we know it. On the other side, we have science's story of human evolution. This story, built from old bones, tools, and DNA, tells us we came from early humans in Africa millions of years ago. We see groups like Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and then our own kind, Homo sapiens, about 300,000 years ago. These cavemen were hunters and gatherers, good at making stone tools, and lived hard lives in a wild world. Here's where the problem comes in. Science shows cavemen lived hundreds of thousands, even millions of years ago. This is much earlier than when the Bible often places Adam and Eve. If Adam and Eve were the first humans, how could cavemen already be living so long ago? This is a big difference, not a small one. We have lots of proof for these old humans, their bones, their tools, their cave art, and their DNA. We know they lived and survived. So how can we make sense of these two powerful but different stories? Experts have thought of a few ways to connect these stories. Let's look at the main ideas. Many people today believe the story of Adam and Eve isn't about two real people, but a symbolic story or a metaphor. In this view, Adam and Eve show when humans gained consciousness, learned right from wrong, and started to connect with God. This awakening could have happened much later in human history, maybe when Homo sapiens started thinking in complex ways, using language and having spiritual beliefs. So Adam could be all of humanity, and Eve could be when we became aware of ourselves and our choices. This idea avoids the timeline problem by making the story about a spiritual start, not a biological one. Another interesting idea suggests that humans were already on Earth before Adam and Eve. In this view, Adam and Eve weren't the first humans by birth, but the first in a special spiritual way. Maybe God chose them to start a special family line or to be the first to receive a message from God. This would mean cavemen, like Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens, were already here. Adam and Eve, then, could be a specific couple, maybe in a certain area, who got a unique job from God. Their story would then be about the beginning of a religious or moral group, not about all humans on Earth. A third idea looks at how we understand the Bible's timeline. Some scholars say the family lists in Genesis weren't meant to be exact dates, but more like symbolic lines of people. Also, the Hebrew word yom, often translated as day in Genesis, can mean a very long period of time. If the days of creation were long ages, then the Bible story could fit with the long time needed for human evolution. This idea doesn't put Adam and Eve before the cavemen, but sees their story as part of a much longer process guided by God, where the fall could be a slow spiritual change. So what do these ideas mean for us? If Adam and Eve weren't the first humans biologically, it changes how we think about original sin and other Bible stories. If Adam and Eve are a symbolic story, it means our fall wasn't just one event by two people. Instead, it could be about humanity's choices over time, our struggles with free will, and our often imperfect connection with God. This idea fits well with what science tells us, as it avoids a direct clash with evolution. If humans existed before Adam and Eve, it brings up deep questions. Did they have souls? Were they under God's laws? What was their link to Adam and Eve's family line? This idea helps with the timeline, but creates new questions about what it means to be human. It might mean the Bible's focus isn't on all humans, but on a specific group chosen by God. While these ideas help us think, we still don't have all the answers. Science keeps finding new things about our ancient past, constantly improving what we know about early human life. At the same time, religious scholars keep studying ancient texts using new ways to understand what the Genesis story originally meant. The amazing thing about this question is that it pushes both science and faith to explore and find deeper truths. So, was Adam and Eve here before the caveman? The simple answer is, it depends on how you read the stories. If you read the Bible literally, then no, cavemen existed before that. But if you think about the symbolic ideas or that other humans existed before Adam and Eve, then it's possible to connect the two stories. In the end, this isn't about proving one story right and the other wrong. It's about exploring all the ways humans try to understand where we come from, through science, through faith, and through our endless search for meaning. The story of our beginnings, whether from a perfect garden or a wild prehistoric world, still fascinates us. It reminds us that the biggest mysteries are often found where our deepest beliefs and greatest discoveries meet. What do you think? Were Adam and Eve here before the caveman? Share your thoughts below. And if you love ancient history, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video.